This video is brought to you by the 2018 Smoke Signals Indigenous Cannabis Cup, happening May 18th to 21st in Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory. For tickets, go to indigenouscannabiscup.com.
While legalization for cannabis looms, thousands of Canadians have criminal records for simple possession of the drug. Which Canadians? Well, some police forces across the country don't gather arrest stats by race. And for others, the data might be there, but isn't easily found in one place. In Vancouver, for example, from 2015 to 2017, we know that Black residents are just over 1% of the population, but make up 5% of arrests for simple marijuana possession. Indigenous residents represent 2.5% of the population, but more than 14% of arrests. Still, where criminalization has hurt the Indigenous population, on some First Nations reserves, legalization is being viewed as an opportunity. Jorge Barrera spent months looking into the explosion of cannabis businesses on reserve, where entrepreneurs aren't waiting for permission.
On a slow day, $5,000. On a fast day, 10.
The pot business has been good in the Mohawk community of Tyendinaga. More than 20 shops sell cannabis in this community of about 2,000. Jamie Kunkel owns Smoke Signals. He thinks the economic potential from legalization could end Tyendinaga's dependence on money from Ottawa.
This industry has the ability that you could just go, we don't need it.
But he doesn't believe any government, Canadian or Indigenous, has any say in how those businesses should run.
They don't have rights, nor do they have the right to negotiate about my rights.
And the chief says there's little the band can do to control the growing industry.
But it doesn't matter what I say; they're going to do it because they're going to exercise their free will to participate in the economics of this industry.
Since it will be up to the provinces and territories to enforce regulations, and because bans are governed by the Federal Indian Act, Miracle says it's an open question whether provincial pot laws will apply on reserve.
It's a national constitutional question because the First Nations people have not surrendered their right to pursue an economy.
But the provinces and the federal government say the law will apply.
The sale of any cannabis or the production of any cannabis outside the license regime is a criminal offense. It's a criminal offense today and it will remain a criminal offense with the new legislation.
Law enforcement is already a fact of life in the Iroquois community of Six Nations, where the First Nations police force is cracking down on dispensaries.
They came in like they're robbing a bank.
A slow night at Seth Lafort's Mohawk Medicine store suddenly upended.
There's a cop there with an AR, and he points a gun at her. And he's got a finger on the trigger, and he's yelling, "Get on the ground!"
Police also hit Jeff Hawks, but the raids aren't going to stop him.
I have to come back hard and strong and right the next day and reopen again and keep going.
Hawk doesn't think the band council should have anything to do with the cannabis business.
I don't fully support the ban. I try not to, but I think myself it should be up to the people. The people here, the people that know, the people who use, the people who are involved in this industry or, have the knowledge of it.
Back in Tyendinaga, Kunkel says he's not worried. He lived through the 3-decade-long battle over untaxed tobacco sales, and the tobacco shacks remain.
Like I said 22 years ago, when it comes to tobacco, if you want to bring the fight to our front door, it's worth us fighting for. This is our health, our freedom, our economy, and who we are as a people, and we've just had enough.
Canada and First Nations again find themselves in the tangle of a potential new conflict. The plant this time is different, but it threatens to uproot an old grievance. Jorge Barrera, CBC News, Ottawa.